and Winddown party live stream aficionados. You have found your home for the evening. Hmm. Okay. Well, they told me they were going to do that. Basically, I just have to add the new card to my meow.
Okay.
And I guess it's going to change the mailing address to this address, which I needed to have happen for a while, right? So that's good.
That is good.
Yeah, so we have unlimited talk, text, and data. I don't know why
Okay.
the price of the phone bill seems to change on various months.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Looking for more chances to get brand partnerships?
Oh my god. I have to when I watch like influencers with makeup, I have to like remember that a lot of them get their like makeup in like what do you call it? Like um
Brand brand partnerships.
yeah, brand partnerships.
Well, here's the thing, Rachel. I shortly after we started streaming, I forgot what we were doing. I was just looking at the email. I totally forgot we were live
Oh
streaming.
my gosh, that's
But
funny.
but I have now remembered that we are on a
Oh my god.
Lullaby live stream wind down party.
Yeah.
If you thought it was a wind down party, well, that would be understandable. It's spelled exactly the same as wind down. The only difference is wind down isn't a word, which should be a precondition to spelling it correctly, I suppose, you know. But can you correctly spell something that's not a word? Well, like I can't correctly spell this. It doesn't spell. It's not a word. But could I incorrectly spell this? The answer, again, is no. And the same reason applies because it's not a word. Now, I could spell a tag team wrestler, but that's a different meaning of the word spell. That means to provide a spell of relief or respite, a break. Let me spell you like that. Now, I can't spell somebody a magical spell because you have to cast a spell. It's not a verb. In that case, it's a noun. These are all important things to remember. Things about spelling. Don't get spelling tests confused with Tory spelling. One of them is a thing you take at school. The other is a lady who is in a TV show that her dad produced. Talk about nepotism. Was Tori Spelling really the best possible actress for that important role in that important show? Or did she get a special bonus boost from being her dad's daughter?
Yeah.
That's what I think. And then she thought she was like actually an actress or something. But she was never a good actress. If you assign a character to represent all objects, then you can spell anything. Well, if you assign a character to represent all objects money, you can spell everything with just one letter. Yeah, you can't just spell anything. You necessarily must spell everything. After all, you've assigned one letter to represent all possible objects, be they physical objects, objects of analysis, objects in a sentence, subjects in a sentence, which are really a form of object. But what is not covered in this panacea character of yours is is verbs. Verbs aren't objects. I mean, sure, a verb can be an object of analysis, but running isn't really an object. Neither is my dick. My dick's more like a poltergeist. Sometimes the house is very quiet. Other times it's knocking shit over. You know. Or my pants, for example. Would be one thing that would knock over in moments of poltergeist excitement. What gets a poltergeist excited? Nobody's really sure. Could be some sort of spiritual energies. What gets my penis excited? Well, besides poltergeists, it's a little somebody sitting right over there.
I'm a lucky gal.
She says that, but it's very obvious to everybody else. I'm a lucky guy. So, what am I lucky for? Well, for one thing, I've got a wife who gets it, you know. She gets it. I don't have to pretend to not smoke my Adderall around her. Indeed. She's like, can I copy you? Like, oh, you want to smoke some too? Oh, yes. Good for you. I am really impressed and proud of you. You know, because families that do drugs together stay together. It's well documented. It's got an even stronger correlation than prayer. That's the old saying, families that pray together stay together. I'm not sure at all that there's a very strong correlation between those two things. I mean, it would depend what they're praying about. Or they're praying together, but they're both praying in silence, and each of them is praying for the other one to get hit by a bus. Even if you were to concede the mechanism of prayer accomplishing outcomes of so tangible in nature, it would be unwise to generalize all prayer togetherness means you stay together, because you need to be more specific about what's being prayed about. Also, you need to specify that it can work with both spellings of pray. If you get a couple who's really into like hunting and outdoors and stuff, they might prey on game animals together, and their shared enthusiasm for that dumbass activity may keep them together. Who knows? At least we'll keep them together for the duration of their trip out to the wilderness, one presumes. I found for my family with Rachel, the couple that gays together stays together. We do a lot of gay stuff together. We go frolicking, you know. We rode on the Ferris wheel at the fair. We do our morning yoga together, facing the sunrise from the driveway on the east side of the house, which is the only place we're going to see the sunrise from. Even though it's not an ideal place to do our morning yoga. We're there every day, rain and shine. And we just quietly, knowingly look at each other and smile. And then we each adorn the happy baby pose. We do our yoga in the nude. It's going to be pretty cold on our mats out in the driveway. 6 a.m., which is when we get up to do our yoga. Then it's semen retention for me the rest of the day, uteral lining retention for her the rest of the day. You know, hopefully for a couple of days, because after I've retained my semen for a day, perhaps 2 days, then it becomes semen evacuation day. You know that rule, that which goes up must come down. Well, the same is true for semen retention. That which is retained must be evacuated. Why? Is the building on fire? No. It's just because it's not good to. It's like there are certain fluids that are supposed to always stay in your body. There are certain fluids that are supposed to regularly come out of your body. And then there are certain fluids that should stay in your body but regularly come out of your body. So, fluids that should stay in your body all the time: blood, vomit. And usually it does. You know, if your blood's coming out of you, then you've had some sort of problem. Spit should, by and large, stay in your body most of the time. If you have to spit, it's because you either got something gross in your mouth or you're coming down with a cold. That always makes me have to spit. But anyway, tears should come out periodically. Tears are your number 4. You have to go number 1, that's pee. Number 2, that's poo. Number 3, that's coming. Number 4, that's crying. Now, you additionally are going to have plenty of fluids that really, if they behaved themselves properly, would stay in your body all the time. Well, one fluid I'm particularly talking about, and that is mucus. Unfortunately, when you cry, your nose gets sad too. Your nose also gets sad when you yawn, when you have allergies, sometimes when you're doing mushrooms. Your nose is a finicky beast. It should be strong and robust enough to sustain the mucus inside of it the whole time. But no, it's like, I give up. I just come rushing out. Are you guys on Facebook at all? I am on Facebook. But no, being gay with a woman means doing things like going to a thrift store or an antique store, or like going together to buy a boutique weed, or riding the Ferris wheel at the county fair together and taking a couple picture, or like when we put our faces in those holes at the fair. That was one of the gayest couple things we've ever done.
Mm-hmm. We did that.
We did. Hey, do I know what 69 is? A number between 68 and 70? Are you like 14 or something? Um, we're in alignment once again, which is not at all unusual. I know, right? Raylene Addie's now. No, we are all out of Adderall. I took my last one quite some time ago. But, since it's just 2 days on, it works extra well. So you were dropping out groceries when I did my live stream groceries, which is only a 10-minute long live stream. And now you were talking about winding down, and this title talks about winding down. But you'll notice the title itself does not wind down. It ramps up. And I think that's a certain kind of artistic symmetry and grace there. And it ramps up in a way that's both universalist. Yes, I already answered that question. Oh no, you only asked it once. Sorry. I, I just read the same one again. Um, well, it's like we get some weird. I'm 52 years old, Adriana Payton. Rachel here is 38.
Yep.
And she's my sister wife. I like the idea of sister wives, but I only want to have one wife, so I just call her my sister wife. Makes me feel more Mormon. She's not my sister, don't worry. Just my wife. No blood relation. She's actually a New Yorker, and I'm from Los Angeles, so there's no relation. She, her family, all of her mom and her mom's sisters, her aunts, they all sound the same. They sound like Long Island interfacers, you know?
I'm glad that you said that because when I was younger and I used to pick up the phone and it would be one of my aunts, they would always go, "Oh, I thought you were your mother," and I would be like, "No."
Can someone please explain what this for and edit thing is? I'm gonna Google it. Maybe I can get an answer from Google. Name for an edit. Name a meow for an edit is a TikTok channel. It's called at name a blank for an edit. I guess that must be it. Is that it? It can't be just. Can't even find that account. Yeah, I guessed. I intuited that it was probably a TikTok thing, but I don't have the answer to this. It's got to be if I can. Let me put meme. Is an edit something you do on TikTok? Name an anime for an edit. Name an NBA player for an edit. Okay, well, I don't know what an edit is on TikTok. Let me see. What is an edit on TikTok? So like other people can edit your shit?
I guess so.
I don't know. Regardless, just name a movie, okay? Okay, fine. Um, Thanksgiving. The new movie that's coming out about the slasher pick. The slasher pick about Thanksgiving. This season, the turkey won't be the only thing getting carved. Hello, how are you? I am fine. Hello, how are you? I hope you are also fine. If you're not, no, it's my vertical stream, Jeremiah Fakes, not my horizontal stream. As per Lou's correction. The guy, Tag VR, says, hello, I'm 26. My name is Nick. I'm from Michigan and I have 2 kids. Cat, I'm a subscribe. OMG, I'm a subscribe. Well, I'm very glad to hear that. For some reason, I seem to be getting subscribers now after a long time of just being plateaued at like 8,100.
We are not drinking alcoholic beer, so like we could chug a beer.
Yeah, but they're non-alcoholic. This
Yeah,
is
they're non-alcoholic, so
Coors Edge, and that's Heineken Zero. But the weed's not non-weed tonic.
Yeah.
I mean, the weed's real. And
Yeah.
we've got both weed and these great little concentrate things that we got on the way back from Los Angeles yesterday. I will show you one of them. They're called heavy hitters, okay? They come like this, just like this. They're all ready to go. They're disposable. So when you're done with the concentrate, you just throw it away. You don't worry about a battery or whatever, you know, it comes with it already built in. And you just hit it like this. A little light comes on. I don't try to hit it too hard because um, then you'll cough. But if you don't hit it too hard, it's smooth as silk, man.
Mm-hmm.
Normally concentrate's pretty coffee. I think it's more coffee than weed consistently, but not these dizzy heavy hitters.
No, yeah, they're really not.
They're great. I give it 4 thumbs up. Both of mine and tentatively pending her approval, both of Rachel's. Butt chug. That guy G tagged me for VR. No, if your 4-year-old kid is in the room, then don't watch this live stream. If you're concerned about moderating content for your kid, then switch to something else. Close the tab.
Your mom's slay. Says Adrian, Peyton.
My mom does slay in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Once she got to heaven, she became like an ESP dude. She's just going around scissoring with every lady in heaven. Well, certainly I'm not going to give some random new person moderator status so he can impose his vision of what's appropriate for his child on our live stream.
If he even has kids for in real life.
Well, there's always that stipulation, but I'm operating within the frame of his narrative. He gives me plenty to work with within that narrative. It's not like I need to argue on the frame level. And you saw a random black and white kitty outside today. Was it Dumpling? Gumpling? Also known as Cum Dumpster? The cat from across the street? So I named that because, like everything from across the street, it's just a nuisance. Either it's loud, it's barking, it's a black and white cat who's coming around our house uninvited, and we don't want to have a third cat hanging around. You know, two cats is already bursting at our cat capacity.
Yeah,
seems.
it is.
Like trouble counts as three or four cats. Yeah. Well, I'm in it as a command. Come, dumpster, to me, so that I can put my trash into you. That's how I'm in it. What were you thinking about? Boy, someone's got a dirty mind around here. Maybe I'm wrong. I usually err the other way with assuming earnestness is not there. Well, I like to play along with the earnestness, and then if there becomes cracks in it, have false shock like, were you not being completely honest? That's a more fun way to deal with that stuff. You took advantage of my gullibility, sir. Or whomever. I take everything with a grain of salt. You know, unless it's Acacia, I've seen her in person, Lou, you know, I've seen her face. Or somebody like Karma's Pimp who's been around here for ages, you know. I trust that I'm getting the person I see the name of, they've got the blue thing, etc. Cat Down the Road. I believe I know Cat Down the Road, even though I've never seen them or anything. I know them as a chatter, you know?
Yeah.
But take a nose hit. Taking a nose hit just sounds like a painful experience for my sinuses. I used to, many years ago, periodically I'd blow cigarette smoke out my nose instead of out of my mouth. I never do that anymore. It dries out your sinuses too much, you know. We are always in sync. That's why right now, Cat Down the Road is doing this exact same thing. Right. A 5-year-old Madridian farmer. Yes, exactly. Sometimes I think it might actually be a kid. Like the like the thing. I want $100 and you want 100 dogs. That sounded very much like something a real child would say. Yeah. There were a few things. Then the just crazily convoluted kind of, let me piece it together what they're trying to say. Also rather actually childlike. Well, like I said, this live stream is talking to famous people's live stream. If you've been around talking to famous people at all before, you know sometimes it gets a little raunchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it gets very intellectual, highfalutin. Neither of those are really appropriate for children. Depends how old the child is, I guess, for the intellectual stuff and the type. Arashi Mori, hello to you as well. I will offer you a reciprocal wave of my yellow hand and ask, how are you doing this evening? On a scale of worst day of your life to nirvana, how are you doing today? The Dwindling Dogs. The Dwindling Dogs sounds like a strange children's story. Once in Dogtown, there were many dogs. On every corner, in every house, with at least one, sometimes two, three, even 6 dogs. Soon, however, there became fewer dogs. Where were they going? Nobody was sure, but everyone agreed the dogs were dwindling.
That's perfect.
Right. And then you introduce the main character. Stuart was a very excitable little dog. He was caught up in his fun activities. He didn't notice that the dogs were dwindling. One day his mother said to his father, I'm worried, Barry. There are fewer dogs every day. Anyway, the little boy dog will solve the problem of the dwindling dogs. It will turn out that they had all gathered at the dog park. Had gotten so up and playing around that they lost track of the time, just started living at the dog park. Turns out some humans from a nearby town didn't realize they were intelligent dogs and were just putting out dog food there for them. And the dogs were proving them right by just living at the dog park. So he goes and retrieves those dogs, brings them back to their important work and lives, and happy ending. The dogs are no longer dwindling. Now they're multiplying.
They're multiplying, huh?
Yeah. To celebrate the end of the dwindling dogs, little Donnie Dwindle, his mom and dad had a new litter of puppies. Now the house was full of brothers and sisters. And there's a picture of all the little puppies bouncing around. That's your whole children's story. Bada bing, bada boom. You can write a children's story just that easy.
Yeah, but you're in any dom, it's that easy. My stories, like growing up as a kid, I look at stuff that I used to like write, and it was just so basic. My enemy ignoring.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, compared to other kinds of stories, it's very easy to
Yes.
come up with an actual, like, complete kid story that you could imagine getting published because the threshold is so low for kid stories.
It really is.
Yes, I'm unusually good at coming up with them, but I'm a lot better at coming up with them than, say, a cool plot for an anime or something. That would require a lot of meowing. For me, I'd have to start with a good concept. Sure, I have a couple of good concepts for animes, but um, most important, the best concept I have for an anime is an isekai police force, where there's an isekai world that polices people who get isekai to other isekai worlds to make sure they don't get too OP. They're basically the OP police. They go to the different isekai kind of worlds, each of which it would be sort of an archetype that's represented by a known anime. You know, a lot of them would have variants on your Magic and Dragons world. Some of them would share specificities with known anime worlds, and they'd go and police characters there who got out of hand. They'd go and write up deities who made unreasonably beneficial deals with the people they've reincarnated. Of course, in order to respect the law, the OP police cannot themselves be OP. So they're always having to outsmart people who are OP in worlds that aren't their native isekai world.
Wow, that's really.
It's a good concept for an
really
anime,
is.
right?
Yeah.
But even if I wanted to execute that good concept, the actual writing of the specific storylines and the characters and stuff, that would be a battle. You know, I'd have to probably write a bunch of stuff and then go, what would Rachel do? Try to lean it down and ask you, you know, where would you cut? what doesn't fly, what can we make golden. But I have so many various script or whatever it is. You know, there's my concept about it's like a book or a movie or a TV show or whatever about this is a simulation, but when you wake up in your actual real world and you're in like this simulation tank and you're in this world where every day pretty much everybody their way of going to work is to go simulate a whole lifetime during that day, this life that we're living now being one of those simulations, but that is the root reality. There's no like inception bullshit going on, right? And you know, you could play that basic notion, which is a great notion, because if this is a simulation, then our real bodies have to be somewhere because it has to be simulated for someone, right? There's no actual self-aware consciousness is the defining line to distinguish between simulation and not, right?
I have a question. Actually, not a question, but a request that I. What about anime that has an INFJ and then preferably an ENTP?
Well, sure. See, those are the kind of things I need help with right off the bat. You just directed my attention to. Okay, so if I were to take that anime idea, the first thing I need to do is think about who the main characters are, what kind of relationships they have, and then I could fill in. You know, once you define their various relationships and where sort of stressors are and stuff between them, how they're gonna talk, how they're gonna meow, then that'll give you a lot of directionality about what you want to do plot wise because it's going to sort of follow those the character as you set up are going to kind of dictate plots to these kinds of interactions. So Karma's Pimp says it's not a simulation, it's a hologram. Actually, it's a partial gram because not everything is represented. Do you know that there's like tons of stuff that isn't even rendered in the simulation? Like, there's actually
Meow.
another table right next to this one, but they don't even bother to render it in the simulation because they're just trying to save. They're just trying to save, um, you know, CPU resources. Say a car for an edit. A car for an edit. I'm sorry. I cheated you because you didn't punctuate it that way. Okay. Um Mini Cooper Countryman. There. That's the kind of car I have. Rachel in my car. It's a fine car. It's got 125,000 miles on it. It's doing a pretty good job.
It is.
Getting us to and fro.
Yeah.
Also yonder and back. Yes, that is my wife. Her name is Rachel. Joe Mama.
You know what joke I never really thought was that funny?
What?
Joe Mama's so fat she sits around the house.
That's a terrible joke.
Yeah.
I'd like, or how your mama's so fat, Jake would be. Your mama's so fat she can squeeze through an air conditioning duct. Just to confuse people. No, obviously not, Joe Mama. That's timeout worthy right there. Faux shizzo. You a timeout worthy.
Oh yes. Thank you, Phoebe.
Look, Karma's Pimp, all grams are now Instagram. Just you can forget about there being holograms, partial grams, megagrams, singing telegrams. They're all Instagram now. It's just the
Oh
gram.
yes.
The gram has basically replaced Facebook as Facebook's number one thing. Because, the gram is by Facebook. It's so much better than Facebook at being Facebook, weirdly. Because Facebook's just, I don't know what's wrong with Facebook. There's something about it I just hate.
I so I liked Facebook back in the day before it went public. Back in the
Okay.
day, it would connect people from schools together. So, like, if I missed a class, like, I can just message someone from class and be like, hey, what lessons did I miss today? When it went public, it just, I don't know.
Well, this guy's lost his marbles. Somebody help them find them. Holy cow! Are you talking about me? What makes you think I've lost my marbles?
Yeah, really.
Did I say anything especially crazy? Do I sound like some kind of lunatic? Certainly not. Um, your your the coincidence of your arrival and your accusing me of being crazy suggests you may not have a full accounting of your own marbles. Okay, well then I just bet you I just hide you then. There. Now I don't have to listen to anything you say. Um
Hologram. Hey, Boba Fett.
well, Karma's Pimp, your and my instincts alike, I suspect, we're both right on the same wavelength there. That guy was clearly up to no good. Well, I mean, it's like when he says, I'm gonna call your house again, I'm back. Well, at that point, as soon as anybody threatens, even if it's like just a threatened tone, I'm gonna do this thing to you, they're insta banned. You're not gonna threaten me with anything and be tolerated around here. Except for things like you can threaten to wag your finger at me or to scold me, things like that. You can't threaten to attain some sort of actual impact and think it's okay. So I've gotten a lot better at I'm gonna fold your laundry later. Bam. That's not what he was saying at all. He was not promising to fold my laundry. He was saying he was back. He was obsessed with me. He was gonna call my house. Well, that makes me think of a few possible people, none of whom I want to talk to at all or engage with whatsoever. So, he probably will return to try to finish his planned verbal attack there. I'm not going to allow it. Because there's no reason to empower some fucking dumbass, you know?
Seriously, Chris Chapin.
I mean, they do suck ass, Chris Chapin, but to some extent, I'm glad they try to suck ass in their dumbass way around me so I can crush them beneath my boot like I do every fucking time. Fucking lobotomy, post lobotomy patients. These people, I tell you, they really chop my hide. I like to leave my hide unchapped to the extent that I can, you know? I think by and large, hide chappage is a bad thing. Most of us would agree on my assessment on hide chappage. You have a long history of correctly assessing and even appraising all such manner of thing. I guess I have to get my glasses. I can't see anything right now. Let me get my glasses. I'll be right back. We got a hotbed of activity tonight. Even though it's supposed to be Lullaby Livestream Winddown party. It is very chilly out tonight. In fact, I may even have to go back inside and get my hat. It's so cold out here. Check this out from the TV inside. You timing out, Acacia? Yeah, well, if that's what it requires for Ruben to keep his rage under wraps, then I think it's fine. I think Acacia's taking one for the team, and we appreciate it. Because we know Ruben has long, well established rage issues. Of course, you know, it's ENFJ rage, which is like, he said that one time, like blowing a kiss at somebody. That's real ENFJ rage. Got to keep the dark passenger in check. Is that what you call your ENFJ rage? Your dark passenger? It is so cold outside right now that it's 42, which is, I guess, not that cold really, but it feels so much colder than like 50 or whatever 44 was this morning. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's dark, and dark is colder than light. Of course, Goodman. You shouldn't be that impressed by my ability to remember things. I, unlike you, am not bipolar. I've noted you frequently express amazement when I remember things. There, I got on these fancy gloves. Julian Bueno. Are you really a good Julian? Or are you Julian Marlowe? Well, that remains to be seen. But welcome, on the off chance that you are in fact Bueno and not Marlowe. Welcome. We've been undergoing a run of grunions around here. Grunions are grouchy onions. They're actually a kind of fish, but I might call them grouchy onions. Maybe he's a Julian? Julian Bueno. You can dice Bueno. You can devil it, you can race it, but you can't Julian it. It just doesn't take that kind of cut. Who's Leanne? Leanne is a lady from Georgia. She owns a soul food restaurant, but much to everybody's surprise, she does not serve any fried chicken there. A lot of people come into the store and say, "Why don't you serve fried chicken at your soul food restaurant, Leanne?" And she says, "Well, kiss my grits, because chicken ain't soul food where I come from."
I just watch you eat.
And then people would ask her, "Where did you come from, Leanne?" She'd say, "I came from London, England." That's why she didn't make fried chicken. That's why her soul food was just beef and kidney pie. Well, hello there, flexible number 123. Have you been on the naughty or nice list this year? Because for naughty children, I'm giving them the bonus of petrochemicals. They can heat their home with this coal. They can, I don't know, worsen global warming. So many options. Naughty children, they like to worsen global warming. Yeah, it's not 1,000,000,000% sure that. I read this article the other day, which I had actually surprised to read this because I thought the linkage between carbon dioxide and heat and global warming was pretty well established, but they're backpedaling some on how significant a role carbon plays as opposed to other gases. Carbon dioxide specifically. I don't mean like carbon filaments from your pencils. Those don't even stay up in the sky. They can't really create global warming. But one thing I always did know about global warming is that people were being insane about this idea that we should cap emissions, because I had never read anybody tell me what kind of curve the heating and emissions variables related with, you know? It's like, it could be diminishing returns, in which case the first bunch of carbon gets a lot harder, and then each bit gets less and less of an impact. Could be like that. Could be runaway, greenhouse, you know, like accelerating returns. Could be a straight line. It could be a self-correcting. It could have sufficient self-correcting mechanisms even. You know, the increased carbon dioxide could spur sufficient plant growth, change weather patterns to increase the total amount of foliage on the world to a sufficient degree that the added carbon sequestering capacity of the plants counteracts the global warming effect. So the problem is, until that thing's been articulated, any notion of curbing carbon emissions, I'm not talking about pollution, right? I'm talking about carbon dioxide, is fucking wildly premature at best, and incredibly stupid in the even in the interpretation that says it's runaway greenhouse effect. It's still incredibly stupid. You don't rob the engine of prosperity, namely productivity, which requires carbon dioxide to be put out, and expect to get a solution. To the extent that there is a solution, it's either going to be a hodgepodge of small solutions, small carbon sequestration solutions, or it's going to be a black swan, some solution we can't anticipate yet because it hasn't happened, that solves the problem. It's not going to be some sort of fucking Luddite return to our primitive ways bullshit. And of course, any attempt to curb carbon emissions is going to produce more carbon emissions because it's going to be done by first world countries out of some overactive sense of liberal nonsense. And that diminished production capacity in the first world will be picked up immediately by BRIC countries who are much more dirty in their production. So it's like, when people talk about global warming, they're not talking about anything that matters. They're once again just trying to group people into one of two groups. You science deniers and, you damn environmental nuts. Well, the truth is what I say. What I say is correct about it. What I just articulated, all that shit is 100% correct about it. Yeah, skywriters call wind the great eraser. Your name is Julianne. I know it says so, Julian Bueno. Julian Bueno, Sergio Malo. ¿Dónde está la bomba? ¿Es la bomba en el supermercado? ¿Es el bomba a la playa? ¿Es la bomba a la biblioteca? And then when freaking Bill Hader comes in, doesn't he? I think so. And he's like, El Jefe comes in. Hola. ¿Qué lo es? Just ask what time it is. A los niños. A los 7. Quelle heure est-il? That's how you say what time is it in French. What time is it? Is how you say what time is it in English. What time it is another possible way to say that. But you may or may not get a response. Maybe it's just kind of a quizzical look. Time to party? Yeah, I think Bill Hader would be great to hang out with. That question people sometimes ask, if you could hang out with any celebrity, usually do living celebrity or dead celebrity, but if you could hang out with any living celebrity, who would you like to have dinner with? Bill Hader would be a good choice. That would be an excellent choice. I'd like to hang out with him. Is it weather? Are you referring to the temperate zones? Let's see, what other climate words might you use? Clouds. Kristen Wiig would be a good one. Amy Sedaris would be great to hang out with. But I might think it would be interesting to hang out. Well, obviously, actually, the truth is, the answer is straightforward. It'd be Johnny. I'd hang out with Johnny. But another interesting person to hang out with would be that maybe INFJ, maybe INFP comic lady. She's weird. She'd be funny. She's a curve surfer, you know. Well, I mean, those relationships can take one of a number of different forms, like proportionality, inverse proportionality, direct correlation. Yeah, it's basically you often use it as a social term. One of Newton's laws of motion, like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You really got me curious now with this climate term you use is in a social context. Would it be sequestration? Carbon sequestration? Could it be Adam Sandler seems not funny though. I don't. Feedback loop. Nice is all well and good, but not interesting is the worst crime of all. And I don't think Adam Sandler is interesting at all.
San Antonio, Texas is calling me right now.
I would not answer that. I think that's a poor decision to answer that one. Feedback loop. Well, see, that's what we don't know about climate change. We don't know if if there's a feedback loop which would suggest accelerating returns, or if there's diminishing returns, if it's a straight line, or potentially it has a compensatory effect in the fashion that I articulated. That's not been determined. So you can't make any policy decisions until that's determined, at the very least. Relentless pollination, bees on speed. Yeah, so there's a lot of half-assed media coverage of the science of climate change, which is a lot more complicated than people think. And one thing that we can agree on is that climate change is, at least to some extent, anthropogenic and not exclusively anthropogenic. But that anthropogenic climate change began like 10,000 years ago with agriculture. It didn't begin with industry. And while it is true that burning fossil fuels for energy has vastly increased the amount of carbon in the atmosphere, the amount of carbon compared against pre-industrial society, not necessarily compared against previous instances in the Earth's history when volcanic eruptions and stuff spewed even way more carbon into the atmosphere. Now, the difference here, of course, is that the carbon production by humans is a continual process of gradually increasing carbon production rather than singular events that produce a lot of carbon that then dissipates, right? So it's a sine wave-like graph. For what? Which vectors are you talking about? Are you talking about specifically carbon and warming? Because remember, there's no doubt that the planet is warming and that it's warming from multiple causes, okay? So it's important to remember Einstein's admonition that an explanation should be as simple as possible and no simpler. So it's not just carbon that's a gas that causes warming. Um, the climate does change, and it changes naturally without any human contribution. We have long geological record to show that. But it's also the case that humans place a lot of unique stressors on the planet, including the global climate. And whether or not those stressors are self-correcting, which is a plausible reality. If the planet gets a lot warmer and wetter, you're going to get a lot more plants, which sequester a lot of carbon. Yes, it does heat up and cool down, but that's reductive to simply say that because the Earth has natural cooling cycles and heating cycles, that climate change in the status quo has nothing to do with anthropogenicism, which is to say human produced caused climate change. It definitely does. So it's more, you have to deal with it like an adult as a complex issue. I've researched it a lot for debate topics. I don't, it's like, as, as usual, my problem with other people's positions on it is that they're the positions of dumbasses, right? They're dumbass, simplistic, black and white positions that are not, and don't link to anything. At least I finally saw the other day something that it's been long overdue. A headline on Google News that said, the COVID lockdowns were a grand experiment. It was a failure. Thank you. Finally.
Have you ever seen that video of a little girl on Christmas and she gets one of those dolls that are called fly dancers? They're like fairies that have like wings, and it when you press a button, they're charged up to fly.
No, I've never seen that.
So she gets one of those, she presses the button, the thing flies, and it's flying, and she's like, yay, it's going. And then it goes straight into the fireplace.
Hilarious. Um. So, yes, it is true that we have those cycles. Okay, you're not hearing me or responding to what I'm saying. I'm saying that additionally, humans present obviously a unique set of pressures on the planet, in a variety of ways, in a variety of ecosystems, that it would affect the global climate as well. Intuitively seems obvious, but you can track correlative growths in carbon with temperature pretty. It's a lag, but it's pretty. I wouldn't call it definitive about any specific element of the relationship, but I'd say it's definitive enough to establish that there is a causal relationship there. But there was something else I wanted to say that was super very important. Oh, the other thing I saw noted about COVID, which made me very happy, was I was reading an article on ESPN that talked about this player having missed some games, and it phrased it as because he chose to not receive, he chose he because he chose to not get the COVID vaccine. It used to be phrased something like because he refused to. So there is growth regarding that matter substantially. It's just everybody wants to kind of brush it under the rug. There should be a massive accounting being held by everybody who was wrong. If people could do that, they wouldn't have been wrong in the first place. They would have listened to me. Um, so when lullabies and live streams wind it down to party, then you got a schizophrenic night ahead of you. I mean, that was a good bong rip. Every once in a while, I still get a bell ringer like that one. Probably the bell ringer was caused by the coughing as much as by the bong rip, but that one hit my head good. It's rare I get to attain that anymore when smoking weed. I think we should start taking vitamin C as well, Rachel.
Okay.
Not just vitamin B.
Well, what about vitamin D?
Well, I don't doubt that it's a good thing to take, but I have specific reasons to take vitamin B and vitamin C. Vitamin C, I just read an article tonight about a study by Chinese doctors regarding the role of vitamin C in reversing and delaying and preventing spinal aging, which the description of what this spinal aging phenomenon was doesn't sound anything like a B12 deficiency, but the symptoms sound, it didn't say neuropathy anywhere in the thing, but what it did say suggested to me it might be good for neuropathy and just general strengthening of the part of our spinal nervous system that got damaged by doing all those whippets. I also read an article today about how England's banning whippets because of this B12 deficiency. But the thing is, I have to say this. If whippets had said on it, do not abuse this because it will cause neuropathy via the mechanism of a B12 deficiency, then I probably would have been a lot more careful about it. You can't just tell me, don't abuse this because it's bad for you. You have to give me a good reason why it's bad for me. What's it going to cause? And how is it going to cause it? Otherwise, I'm just going to assume you're full of shit. They tell you not to abuse everything. It's like, I Googled this evening, can you smoke benzos? It's a simple question. I should get a simple answer for this question. Instead, just endless links to recovery centers about, are you addicted to snorting benzos? I didn't even ask about snorting benzos. I asked about smoking them. Like, just because a man is curious about whether he can smoke his wife's benzos doesn't mean he needs to go into drug recovery, for fuck's sake. Can the world please get its head out of its ass? It's perfectly normal to smoke Adderall and Klonopin. It's one of the 3 recommended administration, vehicles or whatever that's called. 1, boofing, 2, snorting, and 3, smoking. That's what the doctor says. Either boof, snort, or smoke this twice a day. So I never did find out the answer to whether you could smoke benzos. I got sick of scrolling through all these links about recovery center. It made me so mad. The internet's gotten so shitty that I can't get a simple answer to an important question that I have about whether I can smoke benzos and whether it's worth it. Like, is it going to get me different benzo high? Is it going to get me more high on benzos right away, but it leaves my system faster? Give me useful fucking information. Not which recovery center do I want to go to? None of them. I want to send them all a letter saying, "Dear Recovery Center, fuck off." You can't smoke benzos. Well, okay. I did want a simple answer, but I wanted a little bit with a little bit more explanation than that. That is a nice simple answer, but I don't just want you to give me any simple answer that you just happen to feel like giving. It should be, no, you can't, because benzos, when turned into smoke, are not bioavailable because your lungs can't process it for some reason. Something like that. Or the temperature it requires to make it smoke destroys the drug. Something like that. Then I would say, fine. Now I know. You can't smoke benzos. I probably was better off not smoking benzos anyway. If you just tell me you can't, you're just being like the stupid nitrous box telling me I can't without any reason. You might as well just say, there's no, why would I listen to you if you say anything if you have no reason? Or anybody say anything. No, they don't all have to have something done to them to be smokable. You can, now boofing is sticking up your butt. You can smoke Adderall and Dexedrine just fine. Now, it's like smoking the 10 milligram Adderall pills. Have you smoked a whole one, like in several bombers, you get a good head rush, but you gotta hit it hard, and then you get a rush from it. It'll last too. You know, like smoking speed lasts about the same as taking it. But the 30 milligram Adderalls we got from the supermarket last time, well, they smoked beautifully. They really smoked wonderfully. But I mostly just take them. I didn't mostly smoke them, you know. It kind of feels like indulgent for me to smoke them. Yeah, I could try snorting one. Snorting is not the same process as smoking. Trust me, both. You're talking to a man who has submarine, which is to take pill or just swallow meth, snorted and smoked not just meth, but Adderall and Dexedrine. So I will tell you that the high is a little different when you smoke speed. It's more cloudy. It's more like good. In Chicago, they took it to the next level. They smoked people. But hilarious Chicago gun violence joke. Sure, I parachuted meth. Parachuting meth just means you take some meth and you put it in a little bit of toilet paper, roll it in a ball, and take it like a pill. I was boofing Jesus, but he eventually caught on that when I was telling him the only way I could get Jesus into my life was by boofing him, that really I just wanted him to fuck me in the ass. So he caught on eventually. He's like, wait a second, isn't this sinful? And I said, of course, how can it be sinful when it feels so good? Alec T, hello. Hello to you. You know what you look like you need? A transubstantiated bong rip. You know what I look like I am going to do? Transubstantiate you one. You deserve it, Alec T. Because you have not just a first name, you also have a last initial. You know what, new group? I'm giving you a wonder point for your Chicago violence joke. It's not Wednesday, but still, it's better than no wonder points. Which functions are communication functions? N-E-N-I-T-I-F-E. Both ends and the communication TF pair, T-I-N-F-E.
NI is
Communicative, which is to say, it deals with low resolution objects rather than high resolution objects. So NI is communication because the alternative to that would be if somebody communicating with you might be a hater.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to deal with it? I don't want you to see anything that I don't want you to see.
If I get another call, I'll give it to you.
Oh, well, we just won't answer the call. I'm saying don't read any text they send and or listen to any voicemails. Let me deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so do ENTPs, Alec. ENTPs, N-E-T-I-F-E, INFJs, N-I-F-E-T-I. We're both 3 comms, 1 physical, but everyone's 3 of one and 1 of the other. It's just not everybody's 3 then 1. That's what makes the other. So it makes us to the most metaphysical types, really, because you could say ENFJs are more metaphysical, but that third slot SE, it just fundamentally makes them more physical, even though they might seem more metaphysical because SI polar is what makes you seem most universalist. Eric, would you be interested in collaborating on a research paper, and by collaborating, occasionally send you stuff I've been working on and you talk about it for a few minutes? Yeah, sure, that'd be great. That'd be fine. You seem smart. I was hoping you were going to say that you were going to help me do cognitive functions right. But I'd be happy to help you do cognitive functions right. That's fine. And by help me, I mean just like finish all the work. But that's fine. I'll help you instead. Yeah, TINI, NE, and FE, they all deal with low resolution stuff primarily, which is to say the meanings, the words, the symbols, not the experiences, the impacts, the physicalities, you know. TE and FE are the most like split of all the functions, the interface functions, because they're implicitly involved with converting either physicalities into metaphysicalities or metaphysicalities into physicalities, and they both can do both. But what makes TE play out as non-communicative is it's interfacing with things that don't communicate. And what makes FE communicative is that it's interfacing with things that do communicate. So naturally, you're reading with FE cues that reveal to you a person's authenticity and their level of engagement with you, how happy they are with you, how upset they are with you, how suspicious or standoffish they are with you, all of those various cues. And but in order for you to deal with those cues, you have to convert it into a meaning. Like, okay, they're getting restless. I need to move faster. Or I'm losing people because I'm getting too musy and there are big pauses here and people don't like dead air. It's boring. Things like that. So FE in that regard is converting physical data into metaphysical information and then, producing changes in your metaphysical and physical action to be responsive to that equally human other element. TE is going to do the opposite generally. It will convert the metaphysical into the physical. Like I did when I looked at the back of the dryer and found the thing that looked like in the picture and um, figured out which screwdriver was the right size screwdriver to use to undo the screws, made a decision and figured out how to, like, where to put all the screws so I make sure I didn't lose any. Um, Took the old fuses off, put the old new fuses on. It was basic TE stuff. It barely felt like TE, it just felt like SE once I watched the video that explained it. But that's an FE engagement, right? It's like I'm seeking information from other people. It's kind of the hybrid ground of FE and TE. Regardless, TE is mostly going to be taking instructions and converting them into actualities and or taking data that's binary in a physical sense, like, well, I tested this fuse and it shows the thing, so it's fine. That's binary data. Or it didn't show anything, so it's busted. Once I tested one of them, so I was busted. I'd already read that they're generally replaced in pairs. So I said, I'm not even going to test the other one. I think I tried to test it and was having trouble seeing if it was moving or not. And so why even bother? So in that case, I'm converting physical binaries into metaphysical ordinations. Like, so first I have to do this, then I have to do that, then I have to do this, then I have to do that. And a lot of times it doesn't ever, though it goes from physical to metaphysical and back again. If you're not talking to somebody else about it, it may never enter into any kind of communicative realm except inside your own head. Regardless, there's some ramblings that got a little bit off point or off clear NI path there, but they're still better than everything else you hear about cognitive functions on the internet.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Communication has receiving, it has action or putting, it has getting, and it has handshaking. Just like on a computer, you've got putting information where you like put something in the chat here. You got getting information where I Google, can you smoke benzos? You have receiving information, like an ad you have unsolicited that just appears before you. And you've got handshaky stuff, like like, are you still there? We're about to log you out. Yes, okay. That's a request response. It can't be a complete action without both elements of it. The action will complete itself with your inaction. It's a dead man switch, So you can see how on computers you've got putting, getting, receiving, interfacing, and those are the only ways that you engage with them. Now, sure, you could say coding, like that's setting up setting up environments in which information can be put, gotten, received, and handshaked. So there's not a corollary for that. But the corollary for the information flows is exact to cognitive functions. Just as information only flows four ways in the metaphysical environment, um, so too does it only flow four ways in the physical environment. It's just not as obvious and clear cut, you know, because it's not binary down into communicative low resolution form in the way that the metaphysical external ecosystem of the internet is. So, yeah, SE is putting information, but it's not information, it's putting energy and force and whatever else. You know, sometimes it involves putting information, but it's attaining actual impacts. Yeah, FI is getting information, but it seems less like getting information because it seems less like asking questions to pin people down on meanings and more like, you know, like realizing when Tom, once again, is 3 hours late texting you back that he doesn't really love you. You've gotten information. You probably sought some of it. Some of it's unsought. It's not so clear and understood as getting as TI is, which is like asking questions. And that's really what negating stuff is all about. Um, and yeah, uh, SI is receiving. That one's easier to understand as receiving in the sense that you get that most people can get the idea that you are receiving an ongoing high resolution record of your experience, such that I remember what Ruben said before, and even though he's surprised by it, and such that I remember where exactly we were on the road when we were listening to this thing that one time, even though that's totally useless information that's not worth retaining. So, in that regard, it's a constant auto receive thing happening to my own experience rather than the NI kind of receiving, which is a readiness for the world to provide more stuff to intuit about, you know? Um, NI is more clearly and easily understood as a receiving function accordingly. Now, of course, you receive information from your body when you get a stomach ache, it tells you have to go poo, or when you're yawning a lot and telling you you need to go to bed. That's information as well. Can I do this thug shake? I don't know what the thug shake is. Hey, women. Hey, hey, Mr. 083. Stop vaping. The old can smoke or do whatever. You are a real charmer. You could charm the pants off of anybody. Rachel's not vaping tobacco.
Yeah, no, I don't vape tobacco.
She doesn't vape tobacco. She vapes concentrate, okay? And hey, Mr. 083, marijuana is very medicinal. It heals so many ailments. You're too young to die. You're also probably, I'm guessing, too young to speak safely. I'll do the thug shake. I do the thug shake. Look at me, I'm a thug. The thug shake, yeah, the thug shake. Join me for the thug shake. Is it like that? Which explanation was that? About being not smoking, not smoking tobacco, but smoking weed? Or that stuff about um, cognitive functions before, about metaphysical, physical stuff, and communication, physical? That would be probably good to cut that. Seems like a good explanation. If you guys, a couple people agree, then I'm gonna have to go with that. What am I smoking then? Pot? No, I'm smoking marijuana. Okay, pot. I don't use those kind of crass colloquial terms. I'm too sophisticated to smoke pot. I just smoke marijuana. Sometimes, if I'm feeling frisky, I might smoke cannabis. Hi, Taylor. Well, sure. In fact, I'll do better than that, Mystery 083. I'm going to transubstantiate this bong rip from my lungs to your head, okay? By the power vested in me as Archpastor of God's Big Heaven Church, and by the fiery mapcast flames of Yale's truth, do I hereby transubstantiate this bong rip from my lungs to Mystery 083's head. You're back from school? Did you go to farming school or regular school? You know, I feel you on your intuition here, Keisha. I'm not denying the ridiculousness of this notion, but it would not surprise me at all if this person is actually a child. Let's see. We're gonna really okay. This should sum that up. It should solve this problem because, to the best of my knowledge, unless Madrid behaves incredibly differently than other places, children don't return home from school at 5:24 in the morning. Okay, cool. Thank you for that clarifier, Alex. I can probably that'll help me pin down where to start and where to end. So, you know, Taylor, that's a pretty big slip up. When you say you're a 5-year-old Madridian farmer and you just got back from school, but it's 5:24 in the morning in Madrid, something doesn't quite add up. Not sure what it is. But I'll call my friend Sherlock Holmes and he'll figure it out for me. Let's see. Overnight kindergarten is a thing? No. No. Overnight kindergarten is not a thing. Why would they have overnight kindergarten? If you believe some adult comes up and tells you, "Yeah, I'd like your child to join my overnight kindergarten," you need to be a lot more suspicious of people.
So I'm being wasteful right now, but I just got a Starburst package with a yellow and an orange.
If you don't want it, to throw it out. I can't even eat the Starburst right now because I'm not sure exactly what's. I may be having another dental problem up here. It's like when I bite down on hard things. On this side, I get this pain. I gotta. So it depends what I'm eating. It's only hard things that do it. Trinity Lutheran College, Mildura. No, but I also didn't get my 100 dogs. So, you know, obviously I'm not going to give the $100 till I get the 100 dogs. Nor will I give the $100 after I get the $100. Nor will I get the 100 dogs because I will not accept shipment of the 100 dogs. Can I smoke it for a long time? What does that mean? Like, pull a lot of bong rips in a row? Hold it in for a long time? What do you mean by that? What do you mean, have I smoked it for a long time? I've smoked it pretty steadily since I was 14. I smoked weed longer than I've smoked cigarettes. You know, I don't like to over smoke bong rips because it kind of makes your lungs feel tore up.
Tyler Swift.
Taylor Swift is a good name for Taylor there. Or Short Girl. Rachel and I watched a Can you smoke it for a certain amount of time? Like,
No.
what does that mean? Do you mean hold it in for a long
I don't
time?
have big lung capacity, so.
Or do you mean, can you only smoke weed for a certain number of time and then you have to stop? Or I'm not sure what you mean by that. Mildura, the land of mildew and poo. Which of the things? You are truly being mysterious. I said, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Yes. That's no answer. That's no answer. Like, a good name for a reindeer is not Prancer. Tail of two shitties. Ruben, you're on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Tylenol.
Tylenol's good, but Taylor Swift and Taylor two shitties are both spectacular, each of which deserves a wonder point. So I'm giving you 2 wonder points, Ruben. None of the other ones quite reach that level. You know, like sucking on a thing, like how much can you inhale? I mean, I can pull a big bong rip. I've got very large lungs. I don't really feel like performative competition bong rip taking at the moment. So
And I can't.
Rachel doesn't have big lungs. She's only 5'2". I'm 6'5". You know, that's 1'3" difference between us. But you know, between my belly button and my neck, I'm regular size. Below the belly button to the ground, plus above the neck to the sky, are elongated.
We answered you, Mystery 083.
I mean, I will pull another bong rip. I guess I will make an effort to pull it low and slow, you know, rather than just ripping it like I normally do. The thing is, the only reason, to be honest, now that I think about it for a second, why am I hesitant to do this? It's because I need to get a paper towel and alcohol wipe the lip thing on the bong. So I'm getting this gross bong resin taste on my lips that I don't like. So it needs a cleaning, like the batter needs a beaning. Certain batters need beaning.
I can't inhale that much. Mystery 083.
What about the women? How much can you have? You're more than one woman, Rachel.
I'm the woman.
What do you think about that? That phrasing. What about the woman? I guess it's better than. What about hump hole? It's a little better than that. But it's somewhere between Rachel and hump hole, I think. Her name's Rachel. Just FYI.
RACHEL.
Okay, we get it already,
Like,
Mystery
really?
083.
Gosh, honestly,
Chill the fudge
let-
out.
I can't inhale that much. You'll see. I'm gonna be coughing.
Oh, you
Fucking
keep
hate
assuming
that.
he's talking to you. I keep assuming he's talking to me.
He's talking to both, I think.
Rachel does not want or need to do that at all. I'm kind of curious to pull a long, slow Bong rip. See if maybe I can execute a bell ringer. I actually want to do this. Rachel does not, so she will not.
No, I'll smoke, but I'm not gonna, like...
You just do what you feel like without letting him influence you one bit, my precious, beautiful, perfect angel darling.
Thank you. But also, I'll be smoking.
Yeah, she trust me. Rachel, without any encouragement, will smoke plenty of weed. Yeah. I don't have to encourage her at all.
No.
That's why you're asking, because you want all of that information about it. Okay, well, fair enough. There you now have all that information. I will pull this one, as they say, low and slow. Let me try to set up for it as well in the following fashion. It didn't look like a big cloud, but it was a big bong rip. Kind of like getting hit in the head with a very gentle shovel.
That's good. Here we go. No, because why do you vape, and does that kind of stuff, like, I'm not shaming you or anything, but my dad lost his bottom jaw because of vapes and cigarettes, so I know it's really bad for you. First of all, it's not tobacco, it's concentrate.
I quote Rebound. That's what he gets. Yet another one to point. Your dad gonna lose his top jaw too if you don't watch it.
Oh, nice Ruben R.
Man, whatever. Here's what I would say to you, Anima Errante. You taste like warm apple pie. You say you single, you lie. I saw them texts from guy, man, whatever. That's what I would say to you. It's a quote. It's a quote from Benjamin Franklin.
He's not old. You're 52, right?
I've got rubber bands in my hands. I'm pushing six in my pants. I spent about half my advance just trying to get you.
We understand that.
Well, Anima Errante, it really doesn't matter to me whether you were trying to start anything or not. You may not want anything bad to happen to somebody, and you may, in your head, clearly link your dad's behaviors with the outcome. Maybe even the doctors confirm that. Where cancer is a very complex thing, and it's not as though there's a clear, direct causal relationship between um, smoking and cancer in the way that there is between, say, huffing nitrous and neuropathy. Uh, if you huff a bunch of nitrous, if you huff enough of it, you huff like a bunch of 100 boxes, you too will cause yourself neuropathy, whether you're more susceptible to it or more durable and less susceptible to it. You too will eventually get there. Okay, it's a direct causal relationship. It doesn't cause it immediately. It's cumulative over time, but it will cause it in anybody who does that. It is not the case with smoking and cancer, for example. So, yes, it's a carcinogen that increases your risk of, say, lung cancer by 15 times over that of non smokers, which still puts your risk of lung cancer at worst at 1 in 300. It's probably your odds are better than that. So, I do want to keep living, of course, but people make choices, you know? Like, every day you go out and leave your house. Maybe you ride in a car, maybe you drive a car. You run the risk of getting into an accident and losing your life. You could choose to err on the side of caution, stay home, change how you live, and maybe I will make that decision for smoking at some point. I'm much more worried about emphysema than I am about cancer. Because emphysema, there is a direct causal relationship. It's just a matter of whether or not you. What happened? Why did Acacia get um, deleted and stuff? Why are you timing out Acacia? What'd she say? Karma's pimp you steak? Or something like that? Good looking out. But also, we good. Yeah, keep your bananas peeled. Okay, I don't know why Acacia got timed out. I don't even know why I even looked to see if she could possibly have done something wrong. When is Acacia gonna has ever she's done anything that could possibly get her um mad, you know? Well, thanks, Anima Aranti. The point is, it's very easy for an individual to come into somebody else's life having no context for for that individual's behavior, my behavior in this instance, and presuming to judge it against an average norm, namely, smoking is worse than not smoking health wise. I don't think anybody's gonna dispute that. Um, and say that therefore I should do something, right? But you don't know what I've come from. It's like the things I do now are the couple of things I have left to me after a lifetime of having addictions that I had to, having things I could be addictive about that I had to quit doing. Like I quit drinking 10 years ago. I used to be a meth addict. I quit doing that a long time ago. and and I had to quit doing nitrous oxide because I gave myself neuropathy. Rachel did too, and and you don't know how miserable it was to be a drunk, for example. You don't know the deals I made with God to quit drinking, which explicitly said, I'll continue to be able to do the other drugs, you know, which I've had to give up a lot of.
I'm going to go lie in bed and listen.
Okay, my darling, I love
I
you.
love you.
So when you say to me, you should quit smoking cigarettes and weed, you don't understand a person's temporal bargaining arrangements. I mean, let's say I were stupid and listened to random people give me commands out of nowhere and or, concerned advice, and I did quit smoking. And in the absence of smoking weed and or cigarettes, I suddenly started drinking again. Then I definitely started smoking again, and my life would completely go to shit. And then you'd have a real problem on your hands, right? You don't know what deals or arrangements I've made with myself regarding various substances. This is the number one reason why nobody should tell other people what drugs to do or not to do. You don't know what their ability to do that drug allows them not to do. Well, that's fair enough. Look, I get it. There's plenty of reason to respect another human being who says, "Hey, I'm authentically feeling like I wish this guy wouldn't do stuff that's so, to my intuition, obviously unhealthy." But it's, from my mind, just something you got to learn over time, that you got to respect that for every person they have temporal bargaining arrangements with certain things. So, and and that it's wise to not judge a man before you walk a mile in his shoes. So it's like this this principle of respect the other individual's subjective space universalizes pretty well. For example, Rachel was talking about um, feeling embarrassed about stuff she buys. She buys a lot of clothes. I made some joke about, this is not the first wife that's taken over all the closet space. Don't worry about it. I don't really need. I'm not into clothes. But the point is, I'm not judging her one bit. We have budgeted money for her, money for us. Money for us is where I take money for me. Um, what she does with her money is totally her business. She could spend it all on fucking little plastic army men. I would not judge for a second. Let me come up with a better joke. She could spend it all on horrible ESFJ signs that say things like, um, "Happy families grow in small places." We have a big house, really anti-polar move there. I would still, I would just say, "Hey, it's her money to do what the fuck she wants with." I would not want anybody telling me what to do with my money. I think it's perfectly reasonable for us to have a budget, so she has finite amount of money for finite amount of time, as do both of us. Because you gotta annuitize just to be long term intelligent. I mean, we're not truly annuitized. self self regulating and annuitized. But the point is, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that of course I'm not gonna buy stuff that Rachel buys. I'm not gonna buy clothes and makeup because I don't want clothes and makeup. So does that mean that clothes and makeup are a dumb thing to buy? I mean, I might actually buy a bunch of little army men. That's something that I might buy. I would definitely not be the first time that I bought dolls. I might, see, as I did one time, a cool Full House dolls set in the box still with like a background scene thing at a vintage store and pay like, $30 for it or whatever. For dolls. I think that's a perfectly good thing to do. I think that going out to dinner is a perfectly good thing to spend money. But I don't think, apparently, that buying valuable objects that will last is a good thing to do with money. So I bought a couple of musical instruments. I tend to think that experiences are worth paying for, and objects are things you have to hum and haw about a lot before you buy anything. It takes me ages to get around to buying stuff. Rachel has to prompt me, can we please buy Christmas decorations? She always does it in a super happy way, like, not right now, but in the next couple of days, if possible, could we please? And she should say, hey, Xmas decorations, Eric. You're really dragging your feet here. But she's never gonna say that because we're a mirage. What's the mirage? We don't judge each other about our weaknesses. You know? If she were an ISFJ, she'd be like, okay, come on. What type is most likely to leave important to the last minute before making a mad scramble to get it done? I've been planning this shit for a month and on a mad dash and worried shitless now with minutes on the meta clock. That's you? You're talking about? Which type is most likely to do that? Um, uh, Probably SE8, 7, or 4. You're signing of the contract overrules that rule. It overwrites. It overrules. It rule rights. It over. Good plans, even. Plans, but poor implementation, execution. Good plans, even. I'm sorry to hear that. When required to take action in private, SC478 have an extra lot of trouble. Well, no, not necessarily. Depends on the SE. If it's something ambitious, it's got a lot of weight behind it, that can be like psychologically crippling for anybody, but probably just again, SE478. Okay. I appreciate that you're not blue, Acacia. The song I want to replace I'm Not Blue with is this one. What you say? Well, of course it is. What you say? Okay. What did you say? So let's get that in everybody's head, okay? I'll sing it one more time to make sure it gets stuck in your head. What you say? Well, of course it is what you say. Well, what did you say? It's kind of a hard melody to nail. Need time to crack the whip like an unhealthy five. Need time to crack the whip, unhealthy five. Unhealthy five. Cracking that whip doesn't seem to work. Crack, whip, whip, crack doesn't seem to work. You gotta actually feel like being a jerk and saying, go ahead, self, and get started. You just gotta get started. Try to gain a little momentum. Feel like, hey, look at me. I'm doing something. Maybe I'll stop thinking about the fact that I'm doing something and just do it for a stretch. Fall into a state of Melanie Martinez lover. Hi, what's happening? Please tell me I just joined. Well, what isn't happening? I mean, there have been conversations that would blow the mind of even someone whose mind was impossible to blow. And there have been insights, revelations, truths, spoken, spun, whispered, thrung about. You've missed more in just the last hour than you lived in your entire life prior to that hour. That's how much action has been going on around here. Taylor's here, show media's here, Acacia's been talking, she's been saying things, words. She earned a wonder point, I believe. I may be mistaking her for Ruben, who I think is earned 3. Nicholas Watson talked about the ever popular Mike Hawk, not to be confused with Mike Hart, who continues to post things that annoy me when I see them. Some of his messaging I approve of. I approve of his, hey, the world's all about love and not hate. Yes, hate is bad. Hate is bad. I agree with that message. But I don't find it especially groundbreaking. Um, and I found his post about conjectures and other unsupported stuff. Yeah, right. To be a general attack on like a general expression of a thesis that he understands to be cognitive functions comprise this conjecture. But he begins the post with which dichotomy J/P or N/S stays more constant throughout a person's life. And maybe these are 2 unrelated posts, but nearby I saw them together. He's talking about how things that aren't letter dichotomies of JPSN are conjectures that aren't supported by studies. I think it was even there's some sort of emphasis added if I remember correctly. It wasn't a link though, I don't believe. Anyway, Probably couldn't be. Like, okay, supported by studies. Studies that beg the question, right? Like, is this an adequate explanation? Well, there are studies that measure these things according to our arbitrary testing that is validated circularly. Yeah, right? Like, well, it's legitimate because it's studies. Well, there are studies because it's legitimate. Studies make it legitimate. It's ridiculous. He doesn't even know. Like, okay, so somebody did some sort of study assuming that MBTI letter dichotomies were the things that you should measure using MBTI measurements, and they came up with an answer to that question. Well, how does one define personality then, except aspects of the self that remain the same throughout one's life, not aspects of the self that change more or less throughout one's life? The point is, what remains the same throughout one's life, regardless of growth in any given function, is the stack you have, the configural imbalance that represents your strategy towards attaining the prime directive. If you were to ask him, what does he think the dichotomies are dichotomies of? Like, what do you think they're drawing a distinction about? Like, if what kind of distinction are they drawing? You know, the correct answer is, well, perceiving is defined as an sensing or an intuition function, and judging is defined as a interface or deliberation function. And then what's feeling? Well, feeling is either the interface function that looks for data about a person's authentic emotional response to something. One of them is function linked to the authentic emotional response to something. Or you could say, FE is an interface function, FI is a deliberation function. But the core point would be, what are all those dichotomies attempting to distinguish between? Kinds of attention. He would not have that answer. Kinds of attention. If he did, the next question would be, okay, but judging isn't a kind of attention. Sure it is. Give me an example. Well, like, your hat's ugly. Okay, well, that is a form of judging, but what makes it judging? Is it that it's judgmental, that it's judgy, that you issue a judgment? Oh, I have no fucking idea. He wouldn't know how to answer any of those questions. This is my speculation. I've not obviously asked him these questions. I shake my head at his quixotic windmill tilt against the truth. It's the same kind of haphazardry that represents every such quixotic windmill tilt against Eric. And it's like, I'm like a modern military, with like tanks and fighter planes and missiles and stuff. And they're not even on a real horse. They're just carrying a lance. And they have plate mail armor that makes it almost impossible for them to move at any speed. And they come tilting at my shit again. Like, you're gonna scratch my windmills. Will you please go away? These windmills, by the way, are unrelated to the work I'm doing here because whatever you're pointing your lance at is not what I'm saying, ever. You know. Oh, that's a good cue to call it a niggity night. I love how Big Five is more scientific by focusing more on bullshit like measuring the spectrum of narcissism and measuring how conscientious someone is. Well, I don't think the Big Five has anything to do with the narcissism spectrum. People may try to link narcissistic stuff to Big Five stuff, but that's not implicit to Big Five. That's, can probably most accurately be deemed an inappropriate use of a terrible thing. uh, a terrible thing's appropriately and equally terrible use. Ruben, what is a portmanteau of into one fruit, figs, plums, and grapes? It would be glig, glig blues. I think there might be glig blues. Okay, a glig blue. No, it has to be a grig poo. A, a grig. A grig plu. A grig plu. Okay, or it could be a plu fape. Could be a flapum. A flapum. I think a flapum is the best name for a combination grape, plum, and fig. A flapum. So, flapums obviously are the horticultural. Hey, what are you doing? Are you not listening to me? I think you hate me. I don't hate you, Taylor. I don't even know you. Um, so, right. Flapums. No, it would have to be fapums. Fapums. Yeah. Could it be plagrums? No. It would need to be playgrigs. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to go with frape frapums? Yes. No, not frapums. Yes, frapums. Frapums. Or just fapums. Either way. No, you have to start with the R, I guess. Frapums. That's fair. Frapums are a horticultural product of the colluding enterprise, the burgeoning enterprise. It's been growing over the past week, couple of days. Growing partnership between the figures, the plumbers, and the grapists. Growers of figs, plums, and grapes, respectively, have grown together a single fruit combining the best of all three of their industries, called the frapum. Frapums have the texture of a fig, the taste of a plum, and the other taste of a grape, which is pretty good. So that's the kind of thing anybody would eat. Frig lump. I do like frig lump. Frigumps? Frig lumps. Where's the... Why are you putting the P at the end, though? How? Why do you get to turn plum around backwards? You're only taking... Why you can't put the R in between the I and the F, but before the G, and still call that a portmanteau of figs, grapes, and plums. Frig lump, that's an anagram. It's a selective anagram involving the highly cheaty technique of choosing and randomly placing any letters you want from any of the three words. That's super cheaty. Frig lumps, where do you get a PH from? Where's the H from? There's not an H in figs, plums, or grapes. Unless you spell grapes Ghrapes. Zoo animal, not you animals. Okay, what is a zoo animal that's not me? I'm going to say giraffe. Giraffe is a zoo animal that is not me. Not it for giraffe. I'm also going to not it any kind of gross things. Like things that eat a lot of bugs. Things that have to sit around and poop a lot. Reject all of those things. Reject all water animals because I don't want to be in dirty zoo water all the time. So I'd rather be like, probably my best choice would be a smallish sized bird in an aviary. So it feels like a lot of space to me because it's got to be big enough for the bigger birds. That would probably be a good choice. I wouldn't want to feel caged in, you know. Like, even this wonderful place, I would not want to not be able to leave it. You gotta get outside occasionally. Where else are you gonna smoke your cigarettes? I'm gonna go get a beverage. I'm quite thirsty. I think I'm a little dehydrated. Okay, of course. And I think you should probably don't be Ruben, you are winning in life in all ways. Why? Because that's fantastic. Boba Fett said, I hate raisins. Ruben and I said, don't be ageist against grapes. All praises to you, sir. That is fantastic. I award you yet another well-earned wonder point. I'm sorry, it seems like, oh, why does Ruben get so many? Well, because he says genius ass shit like that. Did I lose my glasses? Didn't I just have them with me? Did I set them down when I got a lighter? Oh, God. I'm a mess. Did I even get a lighter? Oh, my God. Okay. All right. This is ridiculous. I went in and didn't get a lighter. I think we got another pack of cigarettes instead. You know, what I was thinking about when I went the time before, I realized this time, is I was thinking about how dumb it was for me to once again go outside with just one jacket, no hat, knowing how super cold it is. Dang, I have. Still didn't get my glasses. I like to call other people dumbass. This is my current preferred term. For a while, it was asswipe. You know, it changes from time to time. Half-wit. I went through a bit of a half-wit phase. Tard. Moron. Short bus. I got a lot of synonyms. A lot of different ways to say the same thing. Well, each has their own flavor. Asswipe doesn't really belong in that set. If you caught that, give yourself a practice wonder point. It's not an actual wonder point, but it's like a practice bra, training bra they call it. It trains them to wear a bra. Training bras should have little like greeting card things on them. That those kind of things that when you open the card, it says a thing or plays a song. You just periodically said to say things like, "Great job wearing this bra. Keep doing this, and you'll go far. Wow, you're really succeeding." She's like, "But it's uncomfortable." "Aw, that's a small price to pay to be as pretty as you are." Red Doll said she's fully trained to wear a bra. Practice bra. I like training bra better because it implies that the woman's being trained to like wear a bridle or something. Wear this uncomfortable thing. Why? You don't want your tits to sag, do you? Can I wear a sports bra? What are you, an athlete? Well, I do try to stay fit. Yeah, I don't think so. Just old school underwear bra. I'll get it for you. I'll do the shopping for you. In fact, I might be able to pick you up one from my grandma's house. Eric mansplains bras to Rachel. Did you ever wear a practice bra, Lou? How about you, Acacia? How about you, Rachel? How about you, Boba Fett? Ruben, you can answer the question as well, KP. But I'm assuming the boys, the answer is no. We had to wear jock straps in seventh grade before we really hit puberty. You say you gotta protect your boys, but like you had to wear the jock strap even when you didn't have to wear a cup. I don't remember them really ever making us wear the cup. Although you're supposed to have it and you're supposed to wear it, supposedly, I guess. But so it's just like these ridiculous thong things with a crotch pocket in the front. They're part of your PE clothes. Yeah, you had the straps. Yeah, straps and like I guess it didn't go up your butt cheeks, but it didn't cover your butt cheeks at all. It had like straps that went on the side of your butt cheeks. It wasn't like a thong, like it went in the middle of your butt cheeks. But it was a thong in the sense that it showed all of your butt cheeks. That's not what makes a thong, I know. But it shared that quality with thongs. And we all had to get changed in the locker room and shower into these prison shower things with like spigots coming off of each side of this cylinder pole. Yeah, you had to use soap. I mean, I don't remember them policing that very much, but you were supposed to. And I had policed it occasionally. Made a big deal about it at like the beginning of the quarter and the semester, and like, now your citizenship grade and PE. Nobody gave a fuck about their citizenship grade. Nothing could be uncooler than caring about your middle school citizenship grade. Even a rather uncool guy like me wasn't that uncool. Cuffed it full of a face mask and a bench. Yeah, well. Is that what it's supposed to be? I keep trying to use it as a dental dam. It's got those little holes in it. But I figure better than nothing. You guys are on a message retraction frenzy. Make a message, retract a message. Maybe it's your take a penny, leave a penny of chatting. Grapes turn into raisins. Plums turn into prunes. But apricots just turn into dried apricots. Peaches, they don't even get to be dried. No, sorry. We don't take your kind here at the drying factory. And interestingly, also, it should be noted that, well, raisins are consistently dry-ish. Plums are squishy. I mean, prunes, they're squishy. MessageRetractions.com. Would you like to find out why the above message was retracted? Visit MessageRetractions.com / show media 1247. Should put that and see how many people will try to go there. What makes the roof of your mouth itchy? Oh, peaches or apricots? Well, peaches have fuzz on it, but you can cut off the skin off of peaches and just have the delicious peachy inside part. You you can also bite through the itchy skin part, but it's better to peel off the skin and slice it into nice peachy slices like my mom used to do. So, yeah, she usually leaves the skin on. Sometimes she'd cut it off maybe if I complained about it. But she cut that and put it in my cereal. It was delicious. You used a koala jockstrap as a mask? When you say koala jockstrap, do you mean like a jockstrap with a picture of a koala on it? Or like a jockstrap that's made to look like a koala bear with little ears on the side and a little nose on your junk and stuff? I like that idea. I wish I had had a koala jockstrap in middle school. Don't let adult Eric get his wish and time travel back in time to have that happen, okay? Universe. Well, PE is where I purchased my first porn magazines from another lad in my PE class. They were used porn magazines. I mean, they weren't brand new, put it that way. But from that point on, my hand had a new job. A jock strap crafter for a sporty koala. Oh, crafted for, that makes more sense, yeah. I like it to be kind of like part of your koala cosplay costume. What's my body count? Like how many people have I slept with? It's not very high. It's under 20. I I don't know exactly what it is. It's not generally a question you want to ask or answer around your significant other. I'd appreciate it if you don't ask Rachel the question. How many have I murdered? 0. I'm pleased to announce. 0 homicides of any sort. But hey, I was a suspect in a homicide briefly. That's right. Because, like all handgun suicides, my father's death was initially investigated as a homicide. And it wasn't just me. Rachel and I were both. Um, um, what was I saying? I'm confused by the yikes. I'm not sure what it's in reference to. I got belly prickles? Oh, yeah, I do have some belly prickles. And even higher. Here's a freckle, 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 here's a freckle. Each of those freckles represents the time an angel died. Every time an angel dies, and really you're on the same path occasion. Oh, it does goes to show you. It does goes to show you that extroverted intuition be like. You'll note how Ruben and I, even though I hardly approve of his many forays into extroverted intuition, don't end up landing in the same spot. Even a tenth as often as occasion I do. Oh, Ruben beat you to it. Well, nevertheless, my point still stands from previous instances. You mean a low one? Show media? Or are you saying that's high? I mean, under 20 could be anything from 1 to 19, so I hope it's not. I don't want it to be. I don't really know. I've not asked other men my age that question. I think it's a sensitive question for a lot of people, Yeah, he does. Well, I mean, the thing is, It's fine for you to put hearty eyes, Acacia. Don't censor yourself so much. Let your F-eye shine like a beacon of moisture in the night. Well, I mean, the thing is, for everybody's body count there's going to be a certain stretch of time. The curve's not going to be uh, a straight line across the middle. Starting at birth and ending at 50. You go, not bad. That's only one, like one every 20. One, let's say I have like a body count of 10. That's like one every 5 years. That's not bad. Well, no, it's not one every 5 years. It's none for like 18 years, right? Then it's like, a little cluster in college, maybe. And then maybe a here and there. Plus, obviously, the wives. This, it's like, I think myself as having 4 serious relationships before this one. My first girlfriend, my first wife, my second wife, and Kimberly. So, and that's the only serious relationships I ever had. I'm a relationship guy, so if you were a girl who fucked me, I didn't have any opinion other than, well, I immediately want you to be locked down as my girlfriend, and I don't care how shitty the relationship is. I found a woman who will take me. That was my attitude about it. It was not supported by reality at all. I had all kinds of weird things in my head. First of all, I had my head all infested with a childhood filled with swords and dragons sexual dynamics, where the woman is always like pure and gives sex to you only when you earned it with some valiant act or something. And it's sort of like a sacrifice they make, but they like it. But that's what I thought. Like sexual dynamics were based on all the books I read, but they're not really like that. And you're supposed to like court women by being super gentlemanly and not trying to get on them or whatever. Women don't want that at all. There's nothing gentlemanly about getting humped. Or humping a lady is not a gentlemanly thing to do. You don't want to just be friends with them, but I didn't want that, but I was sort of in this weird, like, yeah, but I don't want to be, unchivalrous. I'm scared. I'm puss shy. Oh yeah, there are plenty of effective techniques to getting women, or ideally to getting the right woman, My love language is not humping. Um, I think my love language is quality time / words of affirmation. Maybe acts of service to a certain extent, not gifts. I'm not a gift giver. Rachel will tell you that, you know. I just, occasionally I'll see something and I think, oh, Rachel would like this, then sure I'll get it. But if nothing grabs out to me, I'm not going to go seek out a gift. I figure Rachel knows what she wants more than I know what she wants. What do I look like? An expert of the Sephora catalog? The answer is no. I'm not. I don't know. If I went to say, I'm going to get Rachel a care package of a mascara, an eyeliner, a lipstick, a rouge, and an eyeshadow. And those are all your makeups. I mean, now I kind of want to do that, but I can't do that right now because I had this fraud thing with my card, and now they have to send me a new card in the mail. So you know. I think it's because I fell for this text scam the first time, like right at the beginning of getting texts for this postal thing. But I could have sworn it was a real USPS website. It looked like it. I checked it to make sure, you know. Regardless, I think that's how it got me in trouble. I got myself in trouble, you know. I fell for a phishing thing, which I normally do not do, but it was just because it was like the first time I'd encountered that one as like an early text at a time when I'd actually just like mailed something that I thought might actually be true about it. Like you need to, you're this much postage short, you know, like 17 cents or whatever. Like, I don't understand why that would be, but okay, let me check this out. Well, I fell for it and entered information into that, so that's probably what happened. And fortunately, nothing was accepted. Like, they declined all the fraudulent ones, so there was no negative impact to them or me financially at all, and no benefit to the thief, prospective thief. So actually, you cannot buy anything until a new card comes, or I could PayPal Rachel money to buy something, but I don't really feel like that. It makes me wonder if Rachel, when she was entering her card number, was muggity meowing. How long have I been live? 2 hours. 2 hours and a million minutes. flexible number 123. I gotta tell you, 123 is not very flexible as a number. But I guess what you're saying is before 123, there is some variable. You could just put X. And maybe you're not talking about its variability, but rather its flexibility. It's a number that can touch its toes, can put its legs behind its head. You guess which number that is. Obviously, it's 7. But I am pretty soon going to wrap the stream up. Not right this second, but pretty soon. Okay, like I'm not sure what that means. Could mean 5 minutes, could mean an hour. Did I ever watch that show on Disney Channel called So Weird? No, I did not. Never even heard of it. Very glad I did not have to watch that. I watched a couple of shows with Delilah that I didn't much care for, such as Sweet Life with Zach and Cody. I was not a big fan of that one, but it was tolerable enough for me to watch. Like I couldn't even watch Full House with her. It was just, it was unbearable to watch. Have you ever been run over by a semi-truck and killed? Not to the best of my recollections, but it might be something I wouldn't remember, you know. Presumably, if resurrection occurs, one condition for possibility of resurrection occurring post Jesus would be that the person who's resurrected is always resurrected in a way that they don't remember having died and that other people don't remember them having died. So there has to be some memory erasure going on. You're a shy pooper? I'm not a shy pooper with Rachel. Rachel likes to come and stand in the door and watch me poop. Well, I'm a shy pooper in the sense that I don't like to poop anywhere but at home. I will if I have to, like in a hotel pooper. But if I have to go to poop so bad that I have to go poop at like a Taco Bell or something, it's a bad day. That's not a good day. You're so shy of your own pooping that you're shy of my pooping. Wow. Now that's a real shy pooper. Thing is, I'm not like I'm pointing the camera at my butthole as I poop. You know. In order to even do that, I'd have to turn around and face the toilet like this, you know. I could lift my butthole up. But then, even then, I wonder if I could successfully poop in the toilet, lifting my butthole up so it could be on camera without poop like dripping down my skin and hitting my balls and stuff, you know. I think that would be bad. So, what I don't get is why some stalls have holes between them. Is that to hang your shirt so it doesn't get splashed? Have holes between them? Like this? I'm just trying to do the TE. That's all. I would have so much issues with any porta potty, as I always have with any porta potty my entire life. Just going in there makes me immediately start gagging. The idea of like sitting down and pooping is just worst case scenario is you have to pee in one of those. Having to poo in one of those, I would rather just go find some bushes somewhere. Thing is, I don't publicly poop. I'm only pooping here at home. You guys aren't really watching me poop. You're sharing in my poop experience. That's different. You deserve it, okay? You deserve that level of intimacy. Which is to say, it's a similar level of intimacy that Rachel has, except you have to look the other direction. Also, you don't get to enjoy the smells of it. Onomatopoeia, is that part tomato, part onion, part pea, and part yam? The onomatopoeia is a new hybrid vegetable of an onion, a tomato, a pea, and a yam. Rachel poops in clouds. I'm less interested in keeping Rachel company when she poops than she is in keeping me company when I poop. I feel no need to be with Rachel while she pees or poops. But certainly don't dislike her company when I do. I feel loved, you know. Are they just tomatoes that Yoko Ono sells? BYOY, bring your own Yoko, was a tradition the Beatles had, short-lived tradition, because only John wanted to have the holiday, and only John brought a Yoko. You only Yoko once. Well, you know, not like John Lennon was gonna marry Yoko, divorce her, and marry her again. He only any of his wives once. Oh, you only YOLO once. You only live once. Once. It's a good point. YOYO also stands for you only eat once. It's a aphorism that stresses the importance of yeeting well when you decide to yeet, because you're only gonna have one yeet opportunity. If you fail to yeet, you can't go pick it up and re-yeet it. Otherwise, you've just thrown it. You haven't yeeted it. Once you yeet it, you have disowned it entirely. I yeet thee, is how they put it in the Shakespeare plays. I believe it was Lady Macbeth who famously said, "Yeet, yeet, damn spot." I like the story about the Beatles singing "Get Back" and John accusing Paul of staring at Yoko when singing "Get Back to where you once belonged." Oh, well, that's understandable. I, I first interpreted that as Paul was staring at Yoko because he was like ogling her, and that John was mad because he was ogling her and singing to Paul, "Get back to where you once belonged." Like, stop looking at my lady. I read that totally backwards. It makes a lot more sense now that I understand it. Like Paul, when he was singing "Get Back," he was singing it at Yoko. Interesting. It's good to know that. I'm pleased to hear that story. I'll share that with Rachel. Pretty sure she's asleep. Doesn't sound like she's listening to anything. And since I'm not in there, she wouldn't have her headphones on right now, regardless of what she was listening to. So, I'm assuming she's asleep. Give Rachel a churro under the door frame. She didn't have the door closed. And the sound has to go around a couple of corners to get to the bedroom in there. She doesn't hear super well anyway, so probably not too loud. And I'm not screaming and hollering right now. Like, hey, let's get the party going. I'm not being like that. If I were, I'd be lying because I think it's about time to get this party ending. So, as always, the bar must close. Oh, you're just playing games. Oh, how sweet. Rachel's here. My beautiful churro loving Rachel. Are you playing Monopoly? Are you playing Dominoes? Are you playing Go Fish? Patty Cake? We don't play enough patty cake, Rachel. Have we even ever tried to do patty cake bakers, man? That seems like pretty intimate activity. Something a gay couple would do. Tic-tac-toe. You're playing tic-tac-toe on your phone, Rachel. I, I would, I would have to wonder whether or not you were really playing a challenging or interesting enough game. Connect Four is a serious game. That's not like tic tac toe. Connect Four takes strategy, insight, wisdom, truth, justice, power, strength, might. Takes all kinds of things. Fun fact: I've never won a game of tic tac toe. Well, you haven't played enough toddlers, Ruben. Loots and shatters. Just can't get the hang of it. Tic tac hoe. She prefers to be called the spokesperson of the Tic Tac Corporation, okay? She doesn't need you objectifying her. Her name's Julie Stevens. She's a real person, not just some hoe that you objectify. She's a spokesperson for doing a professional job for the Tic Tac Corporation. I don't have Connect Four skills, Acacia. I'm not good at it. But yeah, he probably thinks they keep the shadow government at bay. You might be able to connect 5 Ruben R, but don't set unreasonable goals for yourself, okay? Don't set goals that you're doomed to never be able to meet. Set reasonable goals. Start with connecting 2. So far, Ruben's only ever been able to connect 1 in every game he's played of Connect 4. You probably won't unless you play very small children, Ruben. Or somebody paying no attention at all. But I like an idea. Here's a variation of tic tac toe. It's called tic tac toe what? Okay. In tic tac toe what, you can put an X, you can put an O, you can put a hyphen or a line, or you can put a question mark. Okay. Now, if you put a question mark, then what happens is at the end of the game, you take turns saying what mark your question mark can be. It can be either an O or a hyphen, or an X or a hyphen. And you can get a line if you alternate X's and hyphens or O's and hyphens. You can designate a question mark at the end to be either an O or a hyphen or X or a hyphen, depending on which side you're on. What do you think about that idea for sexifying up tic-tac-toe? I just came up with it right now. Why? Because I'm a natural tic-tac-toe engineer. Acacia can shuffle a decent board. This is a fun game of how long we can keep Eric hanging up on us. Well, you know, when I'm enjoying myself, there's no reason to stop. I'm not planning on going to sleep right away. I'm not actually tired right now, even though I probably should be. But I got a good amount of sleep 2 nights ago. Enough sleep last night, 4 hours, a little more maybe. And enough amphetamines over the course of the 2 days that I could probably stay up pretty late tonight. It's not like there's anything in particular I want to watch on TV. There's nothing I necessarily want to do. There's one thing I might sort of want to do. Might kind of want to play with music a little bit, but I'm not sure. I don't think I have that much energy left in me. I did get a fair amount of chores done today, which is, it's like, it's weird. It's like, it doesn't really give me any satisfaction per se, beyond the fact that I no longer have to do it. But even that kind of, it just doesn't, it's like, it doesn't really register. I don't keep track of chores beyond the scope of one day. It's this kind of primitive SI fourth slot. Like, oh, I got this done today, this done. By the end of the day, I'll forget some of the stuff on my list of things that I got done anyway. Would you entertain us by taking your next poop inside your beanie? No. But never hurts to ask. All right. So, no, I do know. I do actually know, Ruben, when my next poop inside a beanie is going to be. And that is, I'm never going to poop in a beanie. Why bother? You might as well just poop off in the bushes somewhere. If you're in the middle of a city and you don't have anywhere to poop, even then, why ruin your hat? Just like poop on a piece of trash you find someplace. And then quickly walk away. You know, if you're that impossible to find any bushes to poop in, you must be in the middle of Times Square or something. Probably not a great place to poop. If you have to poop like in Times Square, just poop right now. All the restaurants are like, well, you have to sit down and order something. Like, I don't have time to go in these restaurants, and there's no public bathroom for some reason because they're all broken or whatever. I don't know if there are public bathrooms there. You just have to poop right on the sidewalk in the middle of Times Square. A few people are going to see you. And you have to be like, perhaps just talking about pooping in your beanie. Okay. You're doing good work here. It's not like you're half-assing this attempts to keep me around with fun ideas like that. Never poop inside your beanie. Don't matter if it's firm or steamy. Don't matter if you work full term or preemie. Never poop inside your beanie. There's always someplace better to leave a poop. It would even be better to poop in soup. After all, you're not expecting to use soup again after this occasion anyway. So it's okay to throw it in the trash. Don't try to eat it, you'll just get a rash. But if you have to poop it, when your soup is fine, you can throw it away if you lemon rind you used to wipe your anus. On the other hand, your beanie you expect to wear again. It's not always summer after fall, winter begins. And if you pooped inside it, you won't want it on your head. 'Cause even if you wash it, it'll still smell like your shit. So don't poop in your beanie. I gotta say that beanie pooping song, this is an Adam Sandler ripoff? I've never heard any such Adam Sandler song. Aren't you the one to tell me to write a song about pooping in my beanie? Never heard anything. I didn't. If I had known you were referencing an existing song, I never would have done it. You're just setting me up to appear to be ripping somebody else off when I've never even heard of this thing. And I did not use a rhyme of a weenie. I used steamy, okay? And I used I'm sure it was better than Adam Sandler, whatever. No, I didn't sing in a funny voice like he does or his thing. I mean, what do you expect, show media? It's a song about pooping in a hat that you suggested. I don't like Adam Sandler. Ergo, obviously, I don't like to be compared to him. Especially in some sense like you're being derivative of Adam Sandler. Oh, dear Lord, no. You mean, stop smelling my baby? Stop smelling my baby. No, I don't want to like it. I don't like Adam Sandler. I had a more positive opinion about him until I rewatched Happy Gilmore and realized how like dumb fucking SE dumb shit it is. You did, you trapped me. Trapped in a live stream. Live show. Media got me. He made me look derivative, and that's fine, but not of anybody derivative of fucking Adam Sandler. Oh no. Why'd you just make me Dave Matthews bitch next? Huh? Well, sometimes life's difficult, sometimes it's easy. But either way, don't be sleazy. Everything's fine, as fine as the truth. Finer than my grandmother Ruth. Grandma Ruth, tell the truth. You're a gilf. Let it give. At the golf course near your house. I call that, Grandma, quit whoring around so much. You make a porn star look like a nun, Grandma. Well, I'm a liberated woman. I'm not sure, how are you able to get all these NBA basketball players to have sex with you, Grandma? I just go off to them and say, you're so funny. Get them every time. Gets them every time. Sounds like the name of a Texas Ranger character or something. Gets them. My name's Time. I get them every time. I'm at my horse. I wear my hat. I get them every time. I got my posse. Got my back. Off I ride into the desert dust. Never worry about a trust that rusts. 'Cause I don't drive a truck. No, I ride a horse. And horses buck. But don't make a fuss. 'Cause I'm always gonna get my man. Gonna get my man. Yes, I think Sandler is an SE Dom. It's like I see, when I watch comedians, like 1 out of 10 of them is worth watching some of, and fewer than that are worth watching an extended amount of. And the difference between hilarious and unwatchable is like this wide in quality. It's intangible things that make this person actually funny, this person actually funny, and these people just very polished pantomimes of being funny. You know, what is that thing? Intuition. You know, you get censors tackling comedy, they can do a good imitation of it, but it's, I mean, I'm not sure it's all censored, you know. Could be some hilarious censored comics out there, I don't know. But the point is, you have people with inadequately robust intuition in the field of comedy, and they can do sometimes very excellent facsimiles of a good joke and polished delivery that will win over a comedy club. I see right through it right away. It lacks the actual interesting, you know, things can succeed in a variety of unique ways. Each of them is kind of unique. That's what makes something pop, you know. Things can all fail in the same way. They just don't pop. So you don't even have to predict where a joke is going. If you feel its predictability after you hear a punchline, then your intuition has told you all you need to know. That joke should never have made it out of the joke barn. And it can't just be unpredictable too. It's got to be like genuinely delightful in some way, or I don't know, inspired. One of the things that makes me have some doubt about whether I could successfully do stand-up comedy is that I think to do it successfully, you have to have a fairly sculpted set of material. It's sculpted both in terms of like a set list of jokes, and the delivery of each of them is sculpted as well. But to feel funny and have shit pop at all, I need to deviate from that sculptedness, or else I feel the artificiality of memorized stuff. That might be a big barrier for me, I'm not sure. I'd probably attempt to do a hybridy thing where I have make these jokes but don't have them crafted out perfectly at first and then see how it goes from there if I were ever to try it. Still remains something I'd like to do. Not sure how I would go about doing that. Well, I'm sure I'd find some open mic night at some comedy club that I'd probably drive 3 hours to get to. But that's where I would start. See how it goes, see how I do. See if I show this time while I poop. The answer is no. You still have to look down the hall. I didn't really come here to poo. I found myself kind of, you should say, inducing labor for a small poop that wasn't really wanting to come out of the 9-month mark. Was it worth all that effort for that one little turd? No, it was not. I regret putting the push into that poo just to get that one little turd out. No, it was not worth it. I might as well just save that turd for when the rest of the little turds got down there to form a bigger turd. It also, even though it's just a little one, my butthole still feels itchy. So even though it's not showing any brown on the toilet paper, it means it like left a little bit of a, like here. Now your butthole's gonna itch behind as a punishment for me inducing labor rather than letting it naturally occur. Don't go inducing pooper falls, as the band TLC once said. You don't want to get poop all over you, I believe is the next line of that song. Meow, trouble. Okay, well, I guess it's time to watch you eat. The live stream viewing audience gets another 2-minute long reprieve or so, because might as well, you guys might as well have to watch me the same as me. If I have to watch me, you might as well have to watch me too. Because, yeah, it's not that fun. But it's less not fun when we're hanging out together talking about which boys from school we think are cute. I think Jason. And Jason R. No, lacrosse Jason. Oh, Jason S. I think, he's not like super conventionally attractive, but I think he's actually really kind of cute. Yeah, but he plays lacrosse. What's wrong with lacrosse? Well, it's, it's a little bit rapey. They don't have raping in lacrosse. No, I don't mean like in the sport. I mean like they tend to be a little rapey, those guys. Is it because lacrosse makes them horny? No, that's not why they're rapey. Then why? It's because lacrosse makes them hate women. Right. Even me? Even you, Judy. Judy. Hey, I want to speak out now. I'm Darren from the National Lacrosse Association. I want to just say for the record, no, you're not rapey. Just because some lacrosse players one time like raped somebody doesn't mean that lacrosse is an especially rapey sport. Okay, well then why are there so many dolphins playing it? Well, I mean, that's what. Okay, the thing about that is, yeah, obviously, dolphin lacrosse players are rapey, but also dolphins who don't play lacrosse are rapey. Okay, good point. Good point. I guess I can't pin that on lacrosse. I mean, think about it. Our name has a law in front of it. That doesn't sound very rapey. You got another good point there. What was it, Brody? It's actually, I believe my name was Tanner. Is it Tanner Brody? Yes, my name's Tanner Brody. Iron Rod. Tanner Brody Iron Rod the fourth. Slayer of Puss. Oh. So, note, I did not say Reaper. Okay. Slayer. So, like, a dragon? Yeah, but like a dragon that consents to being slayed. Oh. I mean, she consented because I know, because I said, you know you want it. Well, thanks, Brody. Tanner Brody. Iron Pole the Fourth. You're quite the Chad, I see. Yeah, but lacrosse is like, we love chicks. We're like down with chicks, you know? Hey, me too, you know? I've been objectified. I've been told, like, you should stop fucking all those chicks. You know? I've been treated like an object too. I think actually you've been critiqued for treating others as objects. Again, not lacrosse. That's just me. Okay, fair enough. Can you get a spokesperson for lacrosse though that isn't maybe? Well, I mean that's gonna be pretty tough. Like not at all. Yeah, ideally. Not even if they're hot. You largely found sex with men to be very meh. Well, it pretty much is like a two. It's a binary thing. It's you know, you got you're in and you're out. You can go in more slowly, go out more slowly, go in all the way, less all the way. You know, but basically they're all just variants of in and out or on. And in contrast, women have a whole different dimension when they're together. They can stick things into each other. They can also rub each other against each other in a scissoring fashion, or what's kind of replaced scissoring, which is known as starting a friction fire. And, you know, they can do things like um, come together by sitting on a motorcycle as it rumbles under their lesbian legs. And they say to each other, I'm a lady. Yeah, and I'm a lady too. And they're like, neither of us have any dangling crotch genitals. And we both have boobs. Like that. That's two lesbians on a motorcycle. Riding from Oakland to Modesto. They've got those little headsets. They can easily hear each other. They don't have to scream over the wind. They also have a windshield on their motorcycle. And it's a nice touring bike. But they've optimized the seats to maximally vibrate them in a lesbian fashion. A lesbian motorcycle vibrates a woman differently than a heterosexual motorcycle, more lovingly. With a bit more of that estrogen touch that just says, is that pumpkin spice? Okay, peeps, just make me feel sane for once. Does that mean we're extra crazy? Or our sanity? Like, what's. So you have crazy on this end, sane in the middle. What's over here? Super sane? Enlightened? Actualized? I appreciate you pointing out that my boobs are the best boobs because what you're really saying is, girls, fellow A cup girls like me, don't hide it, flaunt it. You too got it, even if it's just in very small quantities. These are my boobs. These are my boobs. It's an imitation of a woman. Sing Madonna song. I'm Madonna Beach. Like that. I know I pass. I pass all the time. Because I'm such a good actor. It doesn't matter what I look like. When I behave, act, and do the voice of a woman, people's eyes just glaze over. They don't even use their visual acuity any further. They just use their ears. They say, well, this is a lovely young woman. Because I am living in a material world and I am a material girl. Look at my boobs. That's Madonna, okay? I like gay people and being a prima donna. That's why my name is Madonna. And why isn't it prima donna? Because I didn't want to be like before too much, so I just went with the Madonna part. Okay, well, you know there's an inn named after you in San Luis Obispo, right? Is there, now that I'm British? I need cone boobies. That's because she didn't have boobies underneath. That's why she had to fake cone boob 'em. She's an A cup like me, but instead of flaunting it like me, she internalized limiting narratives. She thought I need to look like the cone putters have visited my chest. Well, you're not gonna miss much because I really am wrapping this stream up very soon. I know I may have said that a year ago, but I meant to say an hour ago, but it could have been a year. Hours and years are easily confused for one another. First a year goes by in but an hour, then an hour takes a year. Which will it be this time? Ah, I wanna have some safe sex. When is it the song before? You got like, yeah, we wanna have. She was the guy and the girl high fiving some safe sex, and then out comes the cone putters with their cones and stuff, and they go, "Hi, we're the cone putters." If you want to have safe sex, you need to make sure not just you and your partner are safe, but the site is safe as well. What we'll do is we'll come to your bedroom, we'll put cones around you, we'll hold a sign saying either stop or slow. We have two hot sign holders for one person has a sign that says fast or regular. So, the lady can cue the sign holders and inform the gentleman if he should go stop, slow, regular, or fast. Now, you may get confusing signals as the sign holders will wave you at a different speed than the sign says. But you can rest assured that these cones will protect you from any oncoming vehicles that should enter your bedroom. And, we'll have hard hats on, so we don't have to worry about any job site injuries. Of course, you guys will have to wear hard hats as well. Wait a second. We have to wear hard hats? I love the idea of a panel, but many times it seems to be actually processing the maladaptive behavior of people I don't know or religion. Well, here's the bottom line: people aren't ready to be on panels. People, in general, need to learn from Eric and or concede panel being on to people like me. I can't watch Taylor's panels at all because he's being negationary enforcer of overwrought claims. But who wants to be a prison guard full of idiots? You know, a prison guard of a jail full of idiots. None of those people are saying anything worth hearing because it's like for every issue they're discussing, I actually have the answer to the thing. Like, is food a human right? Well, no, obviously not. If you define right as meaning something, rights confer duties onto another person. Do people have a duty of non-interference? In other words, to not prevent you from getting food? Yeah, but they have no obligation to provide it to you. You might try to claim that food ought to be an entitlement provided to everybody by the government, but then but then make that argument, say those words instead of some bullshit. Regardless, if you get your way, it's just going to be a horrible, means-tested, bureaucratic disaster of fraud and waste and mismanagement, as all such programs are doomed to be, because they are assaults on the poor in the mask of progressivism. Well, no, babies don't have a right to breast milk or be fed, but the obligation to take care of your baby doesn't emerge from rights. It's framed by rights in the sense that you have a responsibility as a regent to protect the ability of your child to exercise their rights when they come of their majority. It's best thought of as a regency arrangement. But yes, obviously, people have an obligation to um, to feed their babies. But just because a right is that which confers a duty onto another does not mean that every duty we can articulate stems from a right. So we have duties regarding cruelty to animals, for example, caregiving of of our pets, not to neglect them, etc. We've got those kind of duties, and and they don't stem from rights. We have equivalent duties for our children, and they don't stem from rights, because not all duties stem from rights. Those duties are what you'd call naturally occurring custodial duties that emerge from family relations stuff that's not calculated like rights stuff is. I mean, you might well argue that you can't formally call that a duty, but you certainly can say it's a legal obligation, and that in areas where we don't have duties that are conferred by rights, but nevertheless have consensus that duties ought to be enforced, that's where we have legally, that's where we codify our intuitive moral conclusions and consensus in the absence of reducibility. And we should, because not every moral issue is reducible, but all rights, every single right, confers a duty. To the extent that a duty is being conferred, it's being conferred by a right. But not all duties are conferred by something so much as they are enforced and codified, right? So you might say that some legislation codifying a duty to a custodial duty of proper caregiving for people onto their pets or their children, but pets is is a less complicated point. That the fact that the law confers a duty makes the law a right, but laws can establish legal obligations, but those don't comprise duties in the moral sense of the word. They're not normative duties, they're moral obligations. I mean, they're legal obligations, not moral. So the thing is, rights confer a moral obligation that in a model penal code is reflected by a consistent codified legal a set of legal obligations. But the moral question comes first and trumps the legal question. Such that even though laws confer obligations regarding your treatment of others, that's the alternative to an actual rights calculus, which confers duties upon others in order to protect those obligations. An important but fairly narrowly constructed distinction. So hopefully you got all that, even though it took a little while to say. It was one complete, clear explanation, thought thing about stuff, but it was kind of drawn out because I was trying to process what I was saying. So now I'm going to leave before I get stuck here any longer. Goodbye. I love you all very, very much. Thank you for being here and trying to get me to stay. I appreciate it. It's the greatest flattery of all. And have a great evening.